that understand the nuance of the situation and understand how the criminal system works in America. You get a bunch of rich people together and you investigate them with a large umbrella and basically an unending budget, you're going to find a couple of bad money transactions along the way. It's going to happen. It happened during the Clinton special counsel, and that's why they did away with the special counsels, for a bunch of years, because of this exact thing. It becomes overreaching and there's no scope. Who dictates the scope? Well, Rod Rosenstein. Rod Rosenstein is in bed with all of these guys. So you see the problem. You see where the conundrum is, how they made Jeff Sessions recuse himself, saying that he had too much involvement in the situation and he would be too biased. So they have him recuse himself. Rosenstein slides in, and bam, we're here where we're at. And all of these guys, Weissman, Rosenstein, these are all Clinton aficionados. These are all deep state shadow lurkers who have been there forever, non-elected officials who are trying to dictate a duly elected president's future with no real evidence. And that's what it really comes down to.
Where should I keep my focus throughout the next few days?
Keep your focus on the text messages that are coming out right now between Strzok and Page. These two, these were the two lead investigators on the whole entire thing. Peter Strzok was the guy who changed the language on the James Comey memo exonerating Hillary Clinton from making it an actual crime to making it just, she was negligent. Basically saying she was incompetent, but there was no intent. But yet we have now 20 more classified emails showing up on Anthony Weiner's hard drive, and that's why the other investigations are going on. But keep your eye on Peter Strzok and Lisa Page, Bruce Orr, Andrew McCabe, and another guy you had, Rybecki, who just a big wig at the FBI, just stepped down, and now he's taking a job in the private sector. You also have James Brady, who is another big prosecutor in the DOJ, who's been fired, demoted. Now Peter Strzok has been demoted. He's working in human resources, and this was the man who was in charge of counterintelligence. So if there was no there, Lee, why would this be occurring? You see what I'm saying?
I do. What should people do to investigate more information? What are you using as your resources right now?
Oh, I'm all over the place. I'm reading everything. I'm reading, the Pravda on the Potomac, a.k.a. the Washington Post. I'll read the New York Times when they run something. I like to get a broad view of things. And then there's other resources that are really good too. Zero Hedge is a really good resource. They run a lot of good articles on Zero Hedge. Sarah Carter has really been all over this. You can find her at sarahcarter.com. I implore people, more than any of those, I implore people to follow WikiLeaks. All the years that WikiLeaks has been reporting, guys, they've never had to retract one story. Think about that for a minute. Never one retraction. Nobody ever disputes that those emails were real. They dispute that they were hacked. Whereas those of us who know, even guys like William Binney, go ahead and take a look. He's one of the biggest whistleblowers of all time. And Edward Snowden doesn't even think they're hacked. So I'm supposed to believe Hillary Clinton and Wasserman Schultz, who never even gave the FBI, by the way, the servers to investigate. They gave them to a private firm called CrowdStrike. The FBI never even investigated those servers, Lee, to see who hacked them.
There you go. Final words.
My final words for this whole situation is I've never been more disappointed in a federal agency than I am in the FBI and the leadership. Not the rank and file, but you add this to the incompetence that's being shown in Las Vegas with Agent Rouse, and you just have a hodgepodge of BS. And like I said, I have a bad taste in my mouth for the way that they conduct themselves. I've seen it up close. I've seen the way that they persecute people for crimes like sports betting and put old, gentle people in prison for 6-7 years with no remorse. So I've seen the way the FBI conducts themselves, and I find it disappointing that people that should be above board when it comes to being biased in any way aren't biased. It's very disappointing, and it rocks your faith in the whole entire judicial system.
There you go. That'll do it for this week. Go out, read up on it. As we get closer to Oscar time, I know we're going to do Me Too. What are we looking at for next week? What else is stuck under your saddle, as they say?
I was thinking we'll change it up a little bit next week, and we'll talk about how when you send your DNA to places like Ancestry.com, how it's getting collected by the government. This is actually a pretty hot story that's blowing off. We'll talk a little bit about that, and then I'd like to discuss CERN, the Hadron Collider over in Europe.
Oh, the thing that's going to destroy the planet.
Well, I don't know about all that. I just find it fascinating, everything that goes into it. The whole entire science, and like I said, that's a whole nother show entirely, but we'll get into some stuff like that as well, and I think that'll be pretty interesting for people to listen about.
All you have to do is type in Challenge the Narrative. It'll take you to our Apple iTunes page currently as we get new people to sign up. Just click what we'd appreciate for anybody who signs up that's brand new. When you sign up on iTunes, just click 3 or 4 stars. I'm not telling you what to click, just click anything. It actually ranks the show, and it helps it show up in the search engines. If you'd like to leave comments, go ahead. Say I'm an idiot. Say Bobby's smart. He likes that. It all works at the end of the day. But that way, it'll move it up in the ranks because, I hate to say it, iTunes is a political structure. And they want you to believe that your vote matters. I don't want to break it to you. It really doesn't matter. But, hey, I want to test the theory anyway. I still think they put the people they want on top, and that's the way it goes. But whatever.
Oh, there's no doubt. No doubt. I mean, look at the whole thing with Twitter, how they've been shadow banning people that they don't agree with, and it's just a nightmare. Social media is a complete – it's really scary when you think about it. Like every time, you tag somebody on Facebook, the AI on Facebook, the facial recognition software remembers that person, and now they say that the AI is so smart on Facebook that it rivals what you have in like casinos and airports and stuff.
There you go. If you get a new ID, you'll see just how intense the new facial recognition software is. They want you front and center. They're framing up your face. It's happening. It's real. It is what it is. It's part of today's society. So challenge the narrative. Just type in challenge the narrative, sign up, and get us on Apple iTunes for right now. We'll let you know when it shows up on iHeartRadio in a couple of weeks, and we'll switch over to that where you can sign up. Thanks, everybody, for listening.